All right, so talking about surface area, going over those homework problems individually and slowly to answer questions. Yesterday when we talked about surface area, we talked about naming these. All right, I saw a lot of people have trouble with this one because it's not laid out exactly like some of those pictures that you had examples of, but the concept is still the same. If it has more triangles, it's going to fold up and be a pyramid. If it has more rectangles, that's going to fold up and be a prism. So remember, triangles give me pyramids, rectangles give me prisms, because triangles are my only shape that can come to the point on a pyramid. So for example 1, am I going to have a pyramid here or am I going to have a prism? Which one is this going to be, Kate? This is going to be a pyramid because, as you can see, we have way more triangles than anything else. So this is going to be a pyramid. All right, this is going to be a pyramid. Now, are triangles the only shape here? No, triangles are just the shape that told me it's a pyramid. What other shape do I have here? Gabrielle? It's a square. So guys, another term for this, so this would be a square pyramid. So again, the triangles told me it was a pyramid because they're going to make that point. The square distinguished what type of pyramid. All right, guys, I would also take for this one, if you put or rectangular pyramid. All right, I will take that because a square is a special rectangle. Now, guys, if I was going to be specific, can I tell that this is definitely a square? Because it does have 5 and 5. So the better answer here would be square pyramid. So if you wrote rectangular pyramid, that's fine. You might want to write next to that that it could be a square, that's probably the better answer. All right. So here's what I've had a lot of people do this. They wrote that down and they were like, I do not understand how that's a pyramid. Is anyone else having trouble visualizing that as a pyramid? Okay, I've taken one of these worksheets and cut it out. So there it is. There's that shape. You'll see that? Okay, so what's going to happen here? What's going to happen is where that crease is, that's going to fold up. All right, that right there is going to fold up. And then all of these others are going to wrap around. So I fold that up. Sorry, I'll try to do it this way. I'm going to fold that up. And then these other sides are going to wrap around, thus forming my pyramid. And I'll try to pick it up on its side so you can see. So y'all see how that made my pyramid there? Okay, and there's the square on the bottom. Okay, so do we see how it folds up and then that's going to wrap around? Do y'all see that? So guys, I want you to notice every single triangle, the bottom of every single triangle matches up with the square, doesn't it? The bottom of every single triangle has to match up with the square. Y'all seeing that? Okay. That's going to be important in just a moment. All right, so now let's talk about surface area. To find the surface area, we literally find the area of every single surface, and then we're just going to add it up. Now, fortunately, remember, I'm not giving you the shape in this form. All right, it's already laid out for you. So you can see all 4 of the triangles. So there's one side, one side, one side, one side. Here you have 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles on the side, and then you also have the square that's on the bottom. So we're just going to find the area of every shape and add it up. Do y'all know how to find the area of a rectangle? Yep. Do you know how to find the area of a triangle? Yeah. So like me personally as your teacher, the part that I know y'all were a little frustrated because this was something new, and I absolutely understand that and I can respect that. All right. But what I do have a problem with is when we have done nothing. Okay? Y'all just told me you can find the area of a rectangle, right? You just told me you can find the area of a triangle, right? So could you try something to work this problem out? Yeah, just leaving it blank is where I have a dilemma because then I can't see anything. All right? I can't see what you're thinking, what's going on in your head. All right? So let's talk about the work that we're going to show. because I understand that some of us, especially with math, you've got to be able to push back past that barrier that tells that your brain's telling you, I can't do this, I can't do this. All right? Think, what can you do? Oh, I can find the area of a rectangle. That's a pretty easy shape, right? Right? Isn't this a type of rectangle? Yeah. So let's start there. I'm going to start with this shape. How do I find the area of a rectangle? What's that formula, Kate? A equals BH. Okay, so we know that formula. If I look at that rectangle, what is the base and the height of that rectangle? I've got to use two numbers. What two numbers are attached to that rectangle that would work? Blake? So 5. So here I can see a base. And then that 5 is also telling me the height. So I get 5 times 5. So what is that shape going to be? 25. And it is area, so we can write centimeters squared there. I'm okay if you just leave that in your answer. All right. So what that means for me is that this shape, the area is 25. All right. Guys, I'm going to write my area in every shape. I want to see your area in every single shape. So like if you get the answer wrong, I can say, well, what did you put in your square? I put 20. Okay, we multiplied wrong. What numbers did you use? I used 5 times 5. You just made a mistake multiplying. Or I used 5 and 4. Where did we get the 4? Do you see what I'm saying? So I've got to be able to see the number that you got in that shape. Are we okay with that? So if you did not write 25 in that box and circle it, please do so. All right, is that square the only shape we have?
No, triangle.
No, we also have these 4 triangles. Now we said the bottom of the triangle has to do what?
Match up to the square.
Remember when we said here's my square, when we're folding that up, that side of the rectangle and that side of the triangle have to match. And that happens all the way around. That side of the triangle and that side of the square have to match. Then all the way around to the very end, that side of the triangle and that side of the square have to match. All right? So, what are all the sides of the square? 5. So what do all the bases of those triangles have to be? 5. So this is 5. This is 5. You want to put centimeters by that just so we know that's the measurement. This is 5. This is 5. Okay. Are we okay with that so far? All right. Guys, for it to be a pyramid, don't all of those triangles have to come up to the very same tip?
Yep.
If one was taller than the other, would they meet at the same tip?
Nope.
No? So the height of all those triangles has to be the same. All right, how tall are those triangles? How tall are those triangles? 8 centimeters. Okay? So look, this one has everything on it. Y'all see how that triangle has my dotted line? It has the base. All right, let's do the area of that triangle because that one looks like the easiest one. All right, area equals? Very good. Base times height divided by 2. Don't forget that divided by 2. Base times height divided by 2. All right, what is the base of my triangle? 5. There's the base, 5. What is the height? 8. And then we've got 2. Divided by 2. Okay. All right, so when I work that out, 5 times 8 divided by 2, Faith? 20. All right, which means this triangle is 20. Now, guys, since it's going around the square and all those bases have to match and all those heights have to match, all of my triangles have to match. So this triangle is 20. That one's 20. That one's 20. And that one's 20. Okay. Have I found all of my areas? All right, we're writing this down. We've got, is there a shape that's missing a number?
Nope.
All of my shapes have my area. So now what do I have to do with those areas? Now we're just going to add them up. So 20, 20, 20, 20, 25. When I add them up, what do we get? 105 centimeters squared. questions about number 1? Was that helpful, talking about that?
Yes.
I feel like that was like, oh, it's just area. It's just area. The hardest part, guys, is figuring out what numbers to use. I know you know your area formulas. We had a test on that. Right? Y'all know, y'all, like, the rectangles and triangles, y'all were awesome at those. Except for triangles, sometimes we forgot to divide. All right? That's the only issue we ever had with those. All right? Y'all can do this. Okay? All right, let's look at number 2. We can do it. Number 2. All right, can someone name that figure for me? Okay. A triangular pyramid. Triangular pyramid. Again, guys, remember on that last one, I'm sorry, going back, I put centimeters squared because this is area. If it was volume, what would we be talking about?
3.
We would put a 3, okay? But it is area. So it's a triangular pyramid. Are there questions on why it's a pyramid?
No.
It's all triangles. It's only triangles, so it has to be triangular. All right. Surface area. Here we go. We got to talk about area. Guys, we only have triangles. All right, and if you'll notice in the center, y'all see how we have lines going through all these? It only gives me one height, and it tells me right here, all of the triangles are, that word says congruent. It should have had a T there. What does congruence mean? Anyone know? Congruent. All the triangles are congruent. Kernan? The same. They're all the same. So that's cool, because once I have one triangle, that means I know all of them. Cool. I only have to do one shape then, right? So which triangle would be the best triangle to use? Sarah Grace? The middle one, because it tells me my base, and it tells me my height. If I try using this one, I'm missing some information, okay? So let's just do that middle triangle. What's my formula? A equals base times height divided by 2. Again, guys, you know how to find the area of a triangle. Could you have tried something here? Yeah. All right. We have a base. We have a height. We could have tried something. So my base here is 20. My height here is 15. And then we're going to divide by 2. All right. 20 times 15 divided by 2. Caleb. 150. Okay, so that means this triangle in the center is 150. Guys, even if you had put your answer as 150 centimeters squared, that would have been closer than putting nothing. All right, I could have given you like a point for that on a test. All right, now is my answer 150? No, 150 is just that center triangle. Is that the only triangle? No, remember they're all congruent, which means all of them are the same. All right, now count carefully. I'm going to put my 150 in every box. How many in every triangle? How many 150s are there right there? There are 4. All right, so we can do 150 plus 150 plus 150 plus 150. I can do that, or guys, when I type in my calculator, I can just do 150 times 4. It's up to you. If you're typing in a lot of numbers in the calculator, please be very careful. What do we get, Gabriella? 600 millimeters squared. Okay. All right, do we have any questions on number 2? Okay.
So we could do this for like anyone, like if it has like the same shapes, the whole thing. Couldn't you like find one of them and you just times it?
If they're congruent, yes. So like on a cube, yes. Okay. All right. Number 3. Number 3. All right. Are all of those shapes going to be the same?
No.
No. They're all types of rectangles, but they're not all going to match perfectly. Before I forget, let's name the figure. Who can name that figure for me? Emily. A rectangular prism. So I know like Michaela and Adriana, y'all weren't in here yesterday. If you'll notice, this has a bunch of rectangles, which makes it a prism. Is there anything besides rectangles?
Nope.
No, so it's a rectangular prism. Okay. If it had a lot of triangles, it would be a pyramid, and then you look and see if it has any other shapes. Okay. All right, we're ready to do surface area. We're ready to do surface area. Guys, now this is just me. This is the way that my brain works. Again, all of our brains don't work the exact same. But do you see how this line going across is 7 inches? All right, that means I know all of my lines going across, just in this middle part, are going to be 7 inches. Isn't that correct? Like, all of these are rectangles? So all of them going from side to side has to be 7 inches. Now be careful, when I wrote 7 inches here, is that going all the way across? No, that's just that center dotted line. Okay? Alright, I like to go ahead and fill that in. I think that makes life a little bit easier. Okay? When I'm looking at this, though, I only see one shape, though, that has my base and my height already on it. What shape already has the base and the height? Okay? That square. Do y'all see how this gives me 3 and 3? Here's a base. Here's a height. So can I do the area of that? Yup. Alright, so area equals base times height. What is the base? 3. And what is the height? 3. So my area is 9. Alright, here's the cool thing about rectangular prisms. Alright, and I'm going to go get an example right here. Alright, when I'm looking at rectangular prisms are symmetric. Alright, and what I mean when I say rectangular prisms are symmetric, I mean is they kind of like they have matches. So for example, let's say the top of my rectangular prism has to match the bottom. So if I have 1 9 on a rectangular prism, I'm going to have another one. Because again, my top matches my bottom. Alright? My left side has to match the right side, correct? The back has to match the front. So do you see how it's going to have pairs? A rectangular prism should have pairs. So this is 9. Which other shape, on this case, is obviously going to have to be 9? Blake? The square on the other side. Alright, so that's just like one nice thing about rectangular prisms is I know it's going to repeat, sort of. Alright. Alright, we got to be careful again. I'm going to just start with this top shape. I know that the base is 7. Do I know, does it tell me on here how tall it is? Does it tell me anywhere how tall that is right now? No, it doesn't tell me right away. So I want us to think back. Remember when we were talking about how if you look at this side, when I fold it up, what's going to happen to those two sides? What's going to happen when I fold that up? They connect. So since those connect, for it to fit perfectly, they're going to have to be the same. So guys, whenever you have a measurement on the side like this, I can go ahead and draw an arrow because I know it's going to have to match that side. So this is also going to be 3 inches. So guys, now do I have the base and the height? Yeah, so now can I do this top rectangle? Yeah, area equals base times height. What's the base? 7. What's the height? 3, because remember that's going to fold together. So I get 3, and when I multiply that I get 21. So that means this rectangle is 21. Okay? What other rectangle is going to match with that? What rectangle is going to match to that one? Blake? This one? This one is not actually the match. Alright, and the reason is, I mean, they might end up with the same number, but that's not its match. Because what's happening, and I know this one isn't the exact same, but what's happening is this one is coming up, right? Is that one going anywhere? That one's staying on the bottom. This one over here is coming up. So that would be the back. That would be the front. Remember, we want those to match, correct? So the one that matches it is actually going to be right here. Okay? Let's say that's not working for you. The top of a rectangle has to match at the bottom. The top of a square has to match the bottom. So if this is 3 inches here, what is this going to be? 3 inches. And what's going to happen when I fold that together? That 3 inches also has to go there. Are y'all seeing where I'm getting that from? Are we okay with that? Okay. So, what numbers am I using for this rectangle? 3 and 7. 3 and 7. Do y'all see how 3 and 7 is there? Didn't we already do one with 3 and 7? Yeah, and what did we get? 21. So do those match? Yeah. All right, let's look at this one because we do need to talk about this one in the middle. I have the base as 7. Where can I determine what the height is? Where can I determine what that height is? Kate?
The 3 is on the square, like the box where they stack next to it.
Yeah, the 3 on the square. This is how tall the square is, right? The measurement on the left has to match the measurement on the right. So that's also 3 inches on the square. So now can I tell how tall that rectangle is? So what numbers am I using? 7 and 3, which is 21. So it looks like all of these are going to match because that was a pair, that 21 needs a pair, so that's going to be on the bottom. Okay. Now what do I need to do with all those? Add them. 21, 21, 21, 21, 9, and 9. When I add those up, what do we get? 102 inches squared. 102 inches squared. Okay. All right, let's look at number 4. All right, so number 4, this is kind of an example that I was just trying to mention to y'all. Y'all can see that there are 3 rectangles, correct? If you put the same number in all 3 of your rectangles, that's not the correct answer. Okay, if you put the same number in all 3 of your rectangles, you did not get the correct answer. And we're going to talk about why right now. All right. Are there any questions on number 3 before we keep going? Are y'all feeling a little bit better about these?
Yes.
A little bit, hopefully. We're just finding the area. We're going to practice some more today. We're going to practice some more tomorrow before the test. So we still got some time. All right. Let's name it before we keep going. Let's go ahead and name it. On number 4, what's that going to be, Lena? Is it a prism or a pyramid? Okay. And are there any other shapes that it would wrap around besides rectangles? They are triangles. So if the rectangles make it a prism, the triangles make it triangular. So it's a triangular prism. All right. Make sure you're with me because you have a test this Friday. This is one of our last tests. Okay. So we need to be writing that down. All right. We need to pick a shape. What shape do y'all want to start? Oh, actually, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Do y'all see my 21 down here? Mm-hmm. Which means 21 is going to go here. 21 is going to go here. And if I wanted to put it on the top, I could. Okay. All right, let's pick a shape. What do you want to start with? Emily. Okay, we can start with the triangle. All right, on a triangle, what is the formula to find the area of a triangle? A equals base times height. So let's think about that for a second. On the triangle, what is the base and the height of the triangle? What is the base and the height?
13 and 12.
All right, so I can see where we got the 13 because 13 is clearly on the triangle. 12 is clearly on the triangle. All right, now remember my base and my height have to make a right angle, correct? So I'm gonna move these 13s that are over here. I'm gonna move them over here for a second, which means this is 13 centimeters and this is 13 centimeters. Do those form a right angle with 12? Do either one of those? No. So 13 and 12 can't be my base and my height because they don't make a right angle. That rule still applies. Okay, any other ideas? What would be the base and height for my rectangle? Lyric?
21 and 13.
All right, so 21 is right here. Is 21 on that triangle at all? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't say triangle. I apologize. All right, we are talking about the triangle, so I'm sorry about that, Lyric. All right, so let's go back to my triangle. Let me say the right shape this time. Lyric, what's going to be the base and height for the triangle?
10 and 12.
10 and 12. Can y'all see my right angle right here? Can y'all see where that's happening? 12 is the height. It's going to the tip of the triangle. That's what we want. All right. What I'm missing, though, is what the base is. What is the base of that triangle going to have to be? 10, because it has to match from that side. So the base here is going to be 10 centimeters. All right, so now can I find the area?
Yes.
So did I need the 13?
No.
Not for the triangle, which means they must be there for another reason. All right, so for my triangle, let's go ahead and do area equals base times height divided by 2. What did we say the base was? 10. What is the height? 12. It's that dotted line going through the middle divided by 2. That's going to give me 60. So I get 60 for that triangle and 60 for that triangle. Because remember, for a prism, it's going to have to match. All right. Now what? Now what shape do you want to do? Okay.
Rectangle.
All right, which rectangle?
Middle one.
The middle one. Okay, so let's do the middle rectangle. Look at that middle rectangle. That's real nice and easy, isn't it? What's the base? 21. What's the height? 10. All right, so let's do that middle rectangle. A equals base times height, which we just said the base was 21. The height is 10, which gives me 210. 210. All right, now guys, we can't just put 210 in all of this. Okay, we can't do that. All right, this 10 is definitely the height here. But honestly, when I look at it, this rectangle looks a little bit skinnier than those. All right, plus, I want you to think about it for a second. Here's that shape, right? All right, this length that's right here. If this triangle is not equal, this length and this length are not equal. Do I have equal lengths on that triangle? That's 10, that's 13. Are those equal? That's 10, that's 13. All right, remember guys, when I fold this 13 up with that side, is that side going to be 10 or does that side have to match with the 13? 13. Remember we even said when you have a number on the side, go ahead and draw an arrow so we don't forget that that's going to fold together. So on this top rectangle, I'm using 21, and what's my height here? 13. Is that height 10? No. So are these going to be the same? No. So let's go ahead and do this area. Area equals BH. What is the base of that rectangle? 21. And what is the height of that rectangle? 13. Are there any questions on where I got 13 from? Are y'all okay with where I got 13? We're okay with that because it's folding up? All right, 21 times 13 gives me 273. So I get 273 here. All right, what about this rectangle? What is my base here? 21. What is my height going to be? 13, because there's the side that it folds up with. So this one is also 21 and 13, which means it's going to be 273. Okay. So now I need to add those up. 273, 273, 210, 60, 60. When I add those up, what do we get here? 876, centimeters? Squared, because it is area. All right, guys, I know I just threw a lot at you. Be careful on these prisms. Remember, do all of my rectangles have to match on a triangular prism? No. In fact, I want to show you something real quick. Let me see if I can find a blank sheet of paper. This will work. Oh, hold on. The back of this is blank. All right. So, guys, just to like emphasize that point, if I had a rectangular prism, if I had a triangular prism, if I had a triangular prism that looked like this, okay, this is like getting really ugly on me, but that's okay. All right, I want us to think for a second. These triangles, do they match? Yeah, the triangles are going to have to match. That's like my top and my bottom. All right, but these rectangles that match around, that wrap around, are any of them going to be the same length? No. So, guys, that means that like this one's going to be the little one because it matches with the little side of the triangle. Remember, these two go together. So the long rectangle matches with the long side of the triangle. And then these two go together. My middle-sized rectangle matches with the middle-sized side. All right? So just be careful. Remember, your rectangles aren't always going to get the same number. That's a bad habit that we don't want to start. All right? All right, guys, are there any questions about those problems on your homework? We took a lot of time going over those. We talked about it in detail. My folks that weren't here yesterday, are y'all kind of seeing what we're doing? We're just finding area, and then adding it all up. All right? So I'm going to pass out our work for today. Guys, we got 15 minutes that we're going to